Hi, everyone. I hope you're well. We're not starting yet. I'm a few minutes early, but I wanted to remind you that you can download the workbook here. There's a green button right under the screen, and we will need this today. So download it, print it if you have to. I try to make it so that you can fill it in on your computer, and I hope it works. In case it doesn't, have like pen and paper or a document on your computer ready. And if you can, attend from a computer rather than your phone, because on a phone it's hard to like watch and write and do all of these things at the same time. If that's possible on your iPad, fine, great. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. So I hope you guys are well. I saw that we have a lot of people in the house. We have 260 people signed up. That's amazing. I'm really excited. And I saw that we have people from Europe, lots of people from the UK. Woohoo! We have people from the US. I saw we have at least one person from Australia. I know that there is at least one person from South America, even though Carolina is in Texas right now. Have fun. But she's originally from South America. And then we have, what else? Do we have someone from Africa in the house? Let me know. And also, yes, lots of people from Netherlands. Woohoo! Hello, Netherlands. And also, do we have someone from Germany? I'm curious about that as well. And Canada, of course. Canada is here as well. Lots of Canadian people, actually. And France, and lots of Londoners. Yeah, we're all here in the cold lockdown in London. I hope that's not going to take forever. Yeah, more Canadians. Hi. Mary's from Canada. Norbert from the UK. Leslie from Pennsylvania, of course. Lots of US people here. Louisiana. Patricia's from Louisiana. We have Elizabeth from the US. And George from the Netherlands. And Sheena from the UK. And Joseph from Canada. Ooh, and we have Megan from Czechia. Awesome. Oh, and we have Carolina from Germany. Hallo, Carolina. Schön, dass du hier bist. Yes, it's starting in a few minutes. And we have Anne-Sophie from Sweden and Katie from New Jersey. I have relatives in New Jersey, an uncle. And lots of people. I'm so excited. Oh, and we have Amy also from Germany, Elizabeth from California, Charlie from the Midlands in the UK. I've never been. I really want to go. And Scotland. Yoo-hoo. We have Wendy from Scotland and Raquel from Florida and Kylie from Oxford. Awesome. So let me see. We have, let's say, 2 more minutes for people to arrive. Again, if you can attend from a computer rather than from your phone, because it's hard to like watch and write at the same time with your phone. And there's like this workbook down here, green button that says download the workbook. Download that, please. And have pen and paper or a document on your computer to take notes. All right, so we have Mary from Portland. Oh my God, I love Portland so much. It's amazing. Glitzy from Hamburg. And Wendy says she's having trouble hearing. Can you guys hear me and see me? I should have asked that right in the beginning. But it seemed like you were answering and replying. So if you have trouble with anything, first try reloading like your screen, like your page. That usually solves the problem. But let me know in the chat, guys, if you can hear me. Yes. Okay. Dawn says yes. Zinia says yes. Okay. So I think, Wendy, it is on something on your end. You might want to refresh your screen, your page, and see if that helps. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tina, Lexi. Oh, now, Wendy, now you can hear me? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right. I think it's time to get started. So Welcome to the Spirit Guide Show. I hope you are well. Like I said, this is the first of 4 episodes of our book club special. And it's been a while. I wanted to do it earlier, but things got in the way. But here we are. Even better because more people can participate. So what is the book club series? Over the next 4 weeks, we will discuss and reflect on my book, which is called The 7 Types of Spirit Guide, How to Connect and Communicate with Your Cosmic Helpers. In case you haven't read it yet, but then you probably wouldn't be here, but in case you haven't read it yet, you can get it on Amazon or anywhere else that books are sold. Amazon is probably the easiest, or Booktopia, or Waterstones, or any of the booksellers around the world, you can order it. And we will conclude this 4-part book series. Today is part 1. We will conclude the 4-part book series with a Spirit Guide ceremony. And I'm super excited about this, and I hope you are too. If you are, let me know in the chat, especially the Spirit Guide ceremony. I can't wait for that. So let me know in the chat if you're excited. And while you are at it, also share this with anyone who you think might be interested in watching the show with you today. Also, if you are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, come on over here. There's a link in the description, either above or below, depending on where you're watching. Click that link, come on over here to Crowdcast, because only here can I give you mini readings, which we will hopefully do towards the end. And only here can you download the workbook that you will need. So find the link in the description. You might have to scroll down a little bit, but it's there. Click on it and then come on over here. All right, so while you do that, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me yet. My name is Jamila Jemunja, and I'm a spirit guide medium, which means that I can sense other people's spirit guides around them and give them messages from their spirit guides. That's what I do. I do one-on-one readings for people. And I'm also a Hay House author. That's why we're here, because I wrote a book and it was published in November. And today we're going to discuss the book. So if you, like I said earlier, if you have any tech issues, please reload your page. That usually solves the problem. So if you can't hear me, can't see me, reload the page. And if someone has problems and they're typing about it in the chat, I don't always see what's going on in the chat because I have to do my thing. Then please help each other out. Remember, remind people that they just have to reload their page, and that usually solves the problem. Thanks. So like I said earlier, today we will discuss and reflect on my book, The 7 Types of Spirit Guide, specifically the first part, the first 3 chapters. The book has 3 parts, so part 1 is what we're going to do today. If you haven't yet, please download the workbook. Again, there's a green button down there. Download it, and then we will work with that. If you can't find it, you can find it by clicking the green button. Yeah, sorry. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, come on over here, because only here can you download the workbook. We won't go through the whole workbook. That's just too much. We don't have the time for that. I picked 4 questions to do today, and you can do the rest on your own over the coming week. And then next week, we will go to part 2. So today we will discuss your prior knowledge of and experience with spirit guides, because it's important to first take stock of what do I know now, or what did I know before I read the book, because that's grounding. Generally, when you learn something new, it's always good to reflect on what do I know about the topic so far. And then number 2, we're going to look at the most important takeaways. I'll go through these fairly quickly, and then you can look at those more in detail during the week, like I said. And then question number 3, why you want to connect with your spirit guides. And that's also important, because asking why you want to do something. No, let me rephrase this. If you want to live a life with purpose, if you want to find your purpose in life, then regularly asking yourself why you are doing something is really important, because asking yourself why shows yourself what are my dreams, what are my goals in life, what motivates me. And when you ask yourself that question again and again and again about several things in life, then that will show you the way to your purpose. So that's why I picked that question. And then number 4, what type of spirit guide you have and what that might mean for you. All right, so these, like I said, these are the more reflective questions, and hearing the answers from other people can be very inspiring and enlightening. So getting inspired by why do other people want to connect with their guides? What do they want to get out of it, for example? You should be able to fill in the workbook on your computer, but if you run into any problems with the workbook, don't worry. You can simply write the questions we will discuss today in a notebook, on a piece of paper, or on a note, in a doc on your computer, wherever. And then if time permits, I will also do a few mini readings towards the end of the show. So are you ready? Let me know, because we're going to get started. So let me show you the screen. Let's see if this works. This is the first time. Yes. Okay. So I hope you guys can see this. All right. Yes, Shauna says I'm weird. I printed it out. No, that's totally fine. Print it out. Absolutely. I didn't mention it because I never do. I like to have everything like digital, so my space doesn't clutter up. But yes, of course you can print it. All right, so I hope you can see the screen. Let me know. Just type yes if you can see the screen, if you can see the workbook. So this is the first page. So let's start off by opening your workbook and have your pen and paper or blank document on your computer ready. And before we even get into the book, I want you to reflect on what you already knew about spirit guides before reading the book. It's like I said, it's always good to take stock of one's own knowledge before learning something new. It kind of helps to ground yourself. So in the workbook, you can see here the cover page, and I can't. Oh, right here. Okay. So, and then we have here a little welcome. You can read that later. And then we start with the intro of the book, which is called Spirit Guided. And then we have the first question. What do you already know about spirit guides? And there's really 2 questions. One is, have you had any personal experiences with spirit guides? And number 2, what have you learned from other people, books, the internet, etc.? So if you have had personal experiences, I want you to take a few minutes and write about that experience. If you haven't had a personal experience with spirit guides yet, then I want you to look at question number 2 and answer that. And once you are done, share a short summary of your answer in the chat, because that's the whole point, that we share with each other and learn from each other. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. So again, if you've had a personal experience with spirit guides, even if you think maybe I just imagined it, doesn't matter. Write it down. And then if you haven't, then answer question number 2, which is, what have you learned from other people, books, or the internet? And then share in the chat, just like a sentence or 2. And I'll give you a few minutes. If you had several experiences, that's fine, then write them down. You don't have to make it like a whole novel, just like some bullet points or whatever feels right. All right, we're already getting some answers here. Cajado says, I've done automatic writing with my spirit guide. It told me its name was Crystal. Awesome. That's really amazing. Automatic writing is fun. Jenny says, I didn't know anything about spirit guides until the book. Oh, that's interesting. So then why did you pick it up? Let us know. Lib says, I have seen Lord Vishnu come to me often, star beings and ancestors. Awesome. Geraldine, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, I've received messages downloaded in my sleep. Yes, that's also a very common way for spirit guides to communicate during dreams. Wendy says, I can feel my guide, but can't hear or see them. That's totally fine. That's a whole different topic, but everyone has different ways of communicating. You do not have to see or hear them to so that the experience is valid. Feeling is just as valid. It's called clairsentience. Gil says, dream of a Buddhist monk walking with me. Yeah, awesome. Again, dreaming, yes. Kylie says, I had an experience in my ceremony where I could literally feel the energy shift and presence of my guides. Amazing. What kind of ceremony? Oh, like the ceremony you did already. Awesome. That's really cool. Jenny said, I went to one of your talks where we did the ceremony and connected with my guides for the first time. It was amazing. Yay, I'm so excited. Elizabeth says, feeling a hand on my elbow and a push on my lower back when trying to face my fear of something. That's amazing. I love that. Your spirit guide literally gave you a little push. Theo says, automatic writing seems to be a popular way. Grandfather came through. Wow, awesome. Rachel says, I've had a loud voice, like in the back of my head, giving me advice. Sometimes when I'm out for a walk or even cleaning my teeth. That's awesome. I don't think I've ever had contact with my guides when I was brushing my teeth. Janelle says, I used to see angels flying in the clouds when I was younger. Oh, that's beautiful. I saw angels on the rooftops in Barcelona when I was living there, the rooftops of the houses surrounding my house. Linda says, I know several of my guides now. My exploration started when I watched the Spirit Guide show for the first time. Mine came to me in colors. Awesome. I'm so glad. Katie says, yes, I used to speak to a past grandmother as a child, being visited in dreams, meditations, been told by other mediums that I have a strong gift connection to Archangel Michael, seeing number patterns. Awesome. Yeah, like if you feel that you have mediumistic abilities, then go take a class. Like I can recommend Gordon Smith. He has a course. You can find it on the Hay House page. I think it's called Mediumship Made Easy. Great class. And I learned like most of what I I learned from him and from Tony Stockwell, but Gordon was my first teacher. Harry says, yes, several when younger, but I stopped and closed the doors. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like, it's not that you close the doors on purpose. It's just when we get older, we're more involved in like society, and society tells us that all of this isn't true. So our brain automatically, shuts that down. But you can open it again, don't worry. Sandra says, name of a guide in a dream, childhood invisible friend. Awesome. I love that you had an invisible friend. Maria says, ancestors come to me often in imagery and meditation. Also, guardian is with me all the time and taps my shoulder to let me know she is there. Her name is Celeste. That's a beautiful name. And I love that she taps your shoulder. I think Wendy started to type something, but it didn't work out. Then Francesco says, I'm starting to draw conclusions over multiple experiences over my lifetime. Feels like a deity has chosen me. I hope to gain knowledge. Was this message interpreted by me correctly? Is it me going crazy? Because since then I feel a new level of power. No, you're probably not going crazy. I have a whole episode on this, by the way, guys. Like, what's the difference between real spirit guide communication, going crazy, and making it up? So if you go back in the archives, you can find that. I think it's called "Is it my spirit guide or my imagination?" So watch that. That should help you. Mary says, giving me signs, a vision presented to me, heard spirit guide a few times helping me years ago. Awesome. And Anne Lori says, I've met with my guardian angels a few times during meditation and many times with my animal guide, also during meditation. Yes, meditation is the best way. Dreams are great too, but I always feel like when you learn it to do it via meditation, it's easier to actually control it. Well, control is maybe not the right word, but to do it on purpose. Shauna says, I've had several visits from my animal guides. They are most prevalent in my life. Cynthia is my guardian angel that I met last summer. Awesome. Yvonne says, my guide is Merlin. I learned spirit guide from Sonia Choquette and Kyle Gray. Yes, I learned from them as well. They're awesome people. And I'm so grateful that they both wrote like a little blurb for my book. I was very honored. All right, so then we have Xander says, Sander, are you from Holland? Meeting deity in meditation, angel calling cards and numbers. Yes. Patricia says, sometimes receiving an answer for things that I didn't know about, like facts, words, answers. Jenny says, my spirit guides led me to your Instagram live about the book when I was struggling. That was how I found out about the book. Aw, thanks to your spirit guides. That's amazing. Renee says, I had a reading with you. Awesome. Glad I could help. Glitzy says, I was told in a trance healing that I have a guide that wants to help me with animal communication. Ooh, that's really interesting. I love animal communication. I've never like learned it properly, but at some point I want to take a class in that too. Andrea says, I've had an experience with a recently departed ancestor. Awesome. So I can't, wow, there's lots and lots and lots of more. Wow. All right, guys, I can't read them all, but I will later on. And for anyone who wants to read all the like chat replies, you can always come back later to the same link and just read all of the amazing experiences that people have had. But we have to move on. Let me see, where are we? All right, so let's move on to the next page of the workbook. Here you are asked, wait, let me move so you can see it. Here we go. Okay, so here you are asked why you want to connect with your spirit guides. Again, this is an important question because living a life with purpose, and I know that many of you want to know what your purpose is in life, or you want to step deeper into your purpose. So living a life with purpose really starts by asking yourself why you are doing things. The more you ask yourself why, the clearer you will become about your own motives, desires, and dreams, and therefore your life purpose. So take a few minutes to answer the following two questions. What do you hope to gain from connecting with your guides? And number two, if your guides could help you with one thing only, what would that be? And then again, once you're done, share with us in the chat, and I'll give you a few minutes. Oh, Anivia, that's interesting. She says she found me while researching ATR, which I assume means African traditional religions. I didn't know that I would come up with that. Very interesting. Suzanne says, I'm finding it hard to answer. For me, it just feels so right, and I've wanted to do it for a long time, simply because they have been coming to me. All right, so then you can answer the question, like the second question, which is about what one thing do you want to help them? Do you want them to help you with? Just for now, it doesn't have to be like life altering, like life changing, but what is it at the moment that you would like their help with? All right, so Katie says, growing my abilities and receiving clearer messages. So basically, psychic development. And Jennifer says, I hope to gain, I think it's supposed to mean clarity. Well, be more specific. Clarity about what? I mean, you don't have to share like super personal things with us, but just for yourself, what do you want to gain clarity about? Leslie says, understand my abilities and how best to use them to help others. So that's like, I would say, I don't know if you mean like psychic abilities or generally abilities. Can be both. And then it's basically about life purpose, if I understand correctly. Pat says, I would ask them to help me clear my psychic energy. I am an empath. Okay, so that's also in the direction of psychic development. Jenny says, guidance, help fulfilling my purpose. Jenna says, Shauna, it has taken more practice to communicate with my own animals since need to remain in neutral. Oh, that's about a longer conversation. Suzanne says, I'm finding it hard to answer. We already answered that. And then I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Ram, pure curiosity. I want to, oh, it jumped. I can't find it anymore, sorry. Oh, here we go. One thing I want them to help me with is, if they can, I want to be able to astral project without a high possibility of getting absolutely demolished by some entity in any way. Yes, they can help with that. They can teach you how to do astral travel. Then Jennifer says, to make the right decisions and do the right things in order to fulfill my life purpose. All right, this is a good one because spirit guides do not make decisions for us. And I'm sure you know that, Jennifer, but I just want to say that generally, spirit guides can't make decisions for us, and they can't live our lives for us. We have to make the decisions. We have to live our lives, but they can help us, can help point us in the right direction. Absolutely. Lexi says soul purpose, psychic development. Maria says, I sometimes feel like I am lost and don't know what my life purpose is. I would like to have guidance to understand what it is that I am to do with this life. Amy says, advice with daily life. My one thing I'd like help with is identifying my ideal client. Who am I to work with? Ooh, that's an interesting one. Elizabeth says, I would like help in being less scatterbrained in the 3D world. Meditation helps with that. It actually helps with two things. Like, it helps with like being less scatterbrained and connect with your spirit guides. And I'll tell you why it helps with the scatterbrain thing. Because if you meditate and this meditation would be just focusing on your breath. Like, for example, you could every day sit down and focus on your breath for and count 50 breaths. And it helps because basically you force your mind to focus on breathing. And the more you do that, the more you train your mind to focus on one thing instead of being all over the place. And so if you do that every day, you will see that you will be less scatterbrained. Rico says, can the one thing change over time? Of course, of course. This is just for now. Maybe in a month it's something else, or maybe in a year, or maybe in 10 years. But yeah. Francesco says, I want my guide to help me be sure to use our power for good and for others. I wish to become the best healer I can be. I believe it is both of our desires, but I believe we both can have tempers. I want to know if I have other guides as well as this one that feels so strong now. I want to use the metaphysical to help blend my physiological and medicine practice. Also, very interesting. So basically, you have a healing guide, if I understand correctly, that you want to work with. Or if you don't know yet who that guide is, then ask for a healing guide, because that is what you want. Tina says, wisdom to know the entire truth, helping me to heal the remaining of my past, to allow me to continue on the path of my life purpose and to raise myself to a higher level of consciousness, growing stronger in my gifts and being closer to my guides. I would like, oops, and it jumped. I lost it. Anyway, that's a lot of different things. Try to focus on one thing. Here's a tip, like if you have like 5 or 10 different things that you want to focus on, what's the overarching theme for that? And oftentimes you can find that by focusing on how you want to feel. So for example, and I can't find the, anyway, so focus, find the overarching theme and focus on that, because everything else falls under it. And then you can just focus on one thing, on this, and everything else will go into that direction, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And Andrea says, I want to understand my soul's purpose in this lifetime so that I can be of service in the way that I'm meant to be. I sense that I have healing abilities, but I'm not sure what path to pursue in order to hone my gifts. And Lori says, I want to feel meaning in my life. Yeah, so that's also very closely connected to purpose, because when we have a purpose, when we live with purpose every day, we have a meaning in life. And Kaylee says, I'm also trying to understand Kali and Lilith, why they say they love me. I sense the ferocity in both, but Kali is more loving and Lilith has more rage. I'm slightly confused about Lilith. I haven't done a lot of research into Lilith, so I can't help you with that, but you can ask them. All right. That's really interesting, guys. I'm so grateful that you're all sharing. I hope you all like learn from each other as well and find inspiration. And as always, I can't read all of them. They're amazing answers, but we just don't have the time. So now I want to move on to the most important takeaways from like part 1 of the book. So the biggest takeaways from part 1 of the book, and you can see that in the workbook. Number 1 is the blessings you can receive from your guides. And that's on page 6. So you can fill that in there and you can just go to the actual book, this one, and see what the blessings are, and then fill in the workbook. Number 2, why it is so hard to connect with them. And you can find that on page 9. So here's the Spirit Guide blessings. And then we go to part 1, chapter 1. And here's like, why is it so hard? You can fill that in here. And then we have, sorry, I'm going back and forth between notes and different screens. Right, and then 3, biggest takeaway, that you don't need to be gifted to communicate with your guides. Everyone can communicate with their own guides without problem. All you need is patience, practice, and an open mind. And you can find that here. So no special gifts needed. What are the 5 ingredients to staying open-minded? And of course, you can find that in the book. And then you can here have a chapter review, and then we get to chapter 2. And that's so what a spirit guide actually is. And I can share that real quick. A spirit guide is any kind of being from the higher realms that is connected to us in unconditional love and wants to help us on our spiritual path or in day-to-day life. And then number 5, takeaway, that there are 7 types of spirit guide. And that's also here on this page. And then we have number 6, the benefits of working with spirit guides. And there are 7 benefits. Again, you can find them in the book and fill in the workbook. And then last but not least, there are a few dangers of working with spirit guides. And I don't want to just ignore that. A lot of people think that dealing with the spirit world is all rainbows and unicorns. I don't believe that. I have never had a really extreme negative experience, but I know people who deal with more negative entities from time to time. And so it's important, for example, to know about that. And it's important to know that there are a few other things. Again, we can't go into everything, but there are 5 things that you just need to pay attention to. And if you know them, then it's all fine. And you can just protect yourself. You can make sure that you don't fall into these traps. And that's really all it takes. So like I said, we can't do the whole workbook together. You can easily do that on your own by consulting the book. What we are going to look at is, who your 3 main guides are. And that's on page 18. So I'm going here. Here we go. All right. So here you are asked who your 3 main guides are. The quiz in chapter 3 provided you with that answer. Or if you found out in another way, that's totally fine too. Like we said earlier, a lot of you had personal experiences, or you had a reading with me. However way you found out, who are the main 3 guides? And you can list that now on this page. And then let us know in the chat. All right, let us know in the chat. Elizabeth says, Ascended Masters, nature deities. I'm not sure, either nature spirits or deities and angels. Awesome. Jennifer says, Ascended Masters, angels, and star beings. Mary says, I wish I could find this out. Would be so lovely. Well, take the quiz in the book. You can get it on Amazon or anywhere else. Janelle says, Ascended Master, scored double digits on that, and all others were a 3 and below. Interesting. So that's very clear. And again, like if you, for example, take the quiz either on my website or in the book is an extended version, then and you have a result like this, then listen to your intuition. The quiz is really just to get you going, to get you started. But if in the end, it's about you and your intuition. So if you have Ascended Masters and all the others are kind of the same, which other ones do you feel guided to work with? Which ones have you always been fascinated by? Which ones do call to you? That's your intuition. That's your guides talking to you. So listen to them. Raquel says ancestors, Ascended Masters, nature spirits. Meg says Ascended Masters, deities, and nature spirits. Zinia says Virgin de Guadalupe is the only one I know so far. Beautiful. Kelly says ancestors, nature spirits, animal guides. All right. Karen says my angel, my dad who has passed, a man named Peter. Kaylee asks, are there protecting strategies in this book, how to protect myself and the ones I love? They've been following me my whole, and don't know, since I've been activated. I asked for Michael and Jeshua to protect me, and I know when he is around because Michael makes his presence known. So what are some tips since you have more knowledge, please? And thank you. That's a whole episode by itself, but just Google psychic protection and you get like lots and lots and lots of tips on how to do it. And then pick one that, because there are a lot of different ways to do it, pick one that feels right to you. That's the main thing. Pick one and then do it on a regular basis. But yeah, we can do an episode on that sometime. All right, so and lots of different. Caitlin says Ascended Masters, nature spirits, ancestors. Kaylee says Christ and Kali. Wow, these are two very different guides. Anivia says goddess, but not a specific one. Oh yeah, so it's like the goddess, the female principle, basically. Sometimes that comes through in readings. Maybe that was for you as well. I don't remember. All right, awesome. So when we go to the next page, I think that's page 19, you will find one more journal prompt that we want to do together, which is, what do you think it means that you have these guides? And you can like either answer for your main guide, like the one, or for the three, whatever you want. Don't overthink it. I know you tend to overthink things. I'm the same. So just jot down whatever comes to mind for now, or what you learned from the book in the chapters about the individual types of guides, where I explain like, what does it say about you that you have this specific guide. And again, once you're done, share in the chat, and I'll give you a few minutes. And Steffi says healing. It's a very short and very clear answer. Leslie says, deity is my number one, that I am a leader or should be one in some way. Yes, that's a good one. We need leaders right now, positive leaders who make this world a better place, not worse. Harry says, how do you know your main guide? I haven't connected with any. that's what the whole book is about, how to connect and communicate with your cosmic helpers. So yeah, get the book, read the book, and otherwise, in part 4 of this series, we will do a spirit guide ceremony, and then you will have the opportunity to connect with your guide. But it would be better if you read the book first, so you know what you're doing when we get to that part. Joy says, they are here to support me in stepping up to my purpose. Yes, perfect. And Lori says, I don't like being devoted to someone. I'm playful, so I have playful guides. That's perfectly fine. And I know, like in the book, I mentioned that deities like devotion, but devotion can look, we have a very specific view on devotion. And I get that because I was the same way. But being playful can also be devoted. You can devote yourself to playfulness. You can devote yourself to joy. You can devote yourself to fun. You can devote yourself to ease. So don't see it in a power struggle kind of way, if that makes sense. Rico says, is it influenced at all by any religious upbringing? Yes, it can be. Because our guides sometimes will always show themselves in a way that makes sense to us. So, for example, if you grew up, let's say, Catholic, then an angel might show itself in a very like classic way with a white gown and the blonde flowy hair and the blue eyes and all of that and the white wings. But if you're not like Catholic and grew up like, let's say, with, I don't know, like in the voodoo tradition, then your angel might look completely different. So yes, it is influenced by our upbringing. It is influenced by the things we know. It is influenced by our brain, by our emotional state, everything. Because spirit guides don't actually have blonde hair, or they don't actually have golden wings, or whatever it is. They don't fly around the universe like that. They are more like, they are beings, but not like with a body like we have it. But they show themselves with a body so that it makes sense to us as humans, because they know that our brain is like caught up here in the 3D world, and we have a hard time grasping the fact that they are energy beings. So they help us out by showing themselves in a certain way that makes sense to us. I hope that answers your question. Wendy says that I'm most aligned with angels and should focus more on working with them. Yes. Tina says that I am awakened enough to recognize I have them, and it makes me able to learn and open my third eye more, making me more in tune with spirit. Awesome. Katie says that I am never alone and always surrounded by love. Yes, the most important message. Beautiful. Rachel says healing and bringing of peace, teaching and a strong sense of responsibility. Yes, awesome. Maria says I am healing ancestral lineage and therefore able to help those here in healing and finding their ancestral soul roots. That's a very beautiful purpose. Diana says, I believe it means they have many things to teach me, but also with a particular area they specialize in. Yes, that's also very valid. And Carolina says, my soul was created in the angelic realm. Hence, I have an angel guide and also others. I am also an alchemist, so I have have Saint Germain. And Sarah says, my love of nature. That it is my role to value and care for the natural world. Also healing. Oh, you can combine the two, like healing the natural world. That is something that's not talked about a lot, but a lot of like traditional shamans see that as part of their purpose, to heal the earth. So they literally go out and do healing ceremonies for specific places in nature. So maybe you want to look into that. Anivia says, my team represents protection, legacy, and I am repairing things and bringing those that came before me with me. Beautiful. Kaylee says that I incarnated for a reason. I now understand the duality of all and to unify and heal in all aspects of being. Something about the 7 rays and hope. Beautiful. And Janice asks, is a phoenix an animal guide or a nature guide? That's a good question. The 7 types of guides is what I learned from my guides, but obviously that's just, again, something that they give us so we can make sense of things, but there is obviously fluidity in that. So a phoenix would be in between. And I'm sure there are other categories that I haven't discovered yet that I might discover in the future. Who knows? I think personally I would count a phoenix more as an animal guide, but that's totally up to you. Listen to your own intuition. And then Jennifer says, my spirit guides say to help and guide me along the journey of life and to one day soon become a leader that will inspire the world to be more compassionate and loving and to heal through their problems and situations. Perfect. Again, we need leaders. Everyone needs to step up and do their thing. All right, guys. Again, I can't read them all. Here's one more. Michelle says, having spirit guides means that I have a lifelong protector that provides me guidance through my life to show me the right path so that I am my best self. They also point me in the right direction so that I can help others. Yes, perfect. Basically, making this world a better place for ourselves and for others. And Karen says that I matter, my life matters, there's a purpose for my life, I'm cared for and loved, and I am being guided. Yes. Perfect. All right, let's see, where were we? Well, I really hope it was fun to be inspired by and learn from each other. There were lots of different replies and answers and reflections. And I'm so grateful that you shared that with me. That actually, and I realized that while reading all these answers, it really helps me as well to see what it is that you guys want to learn and what it is, where do you guys want to go? So that helps me to come up with new content for the show so that I can help you go where you want to go. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with me. And we will resume with discussing part 2 of the book next week. And it will be about the different types of guides, so the 7 different types and why they are working with you. So we talked about that a little bit today, but next time we will do that more. And then week 3, so in 2 weeks, we will discuss part 3, which is all about the Spirit Guide ceremony. And we will prepare for the ceremony, which will conclude our book club series on March 6th. So in 4 weeks, no, 3 weeks. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to do a few readings, not as many as usual, but let's do 2 or 3. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, find the link in the description of the post and come on over to Crowdcast, because only here can I do readings for you. All right, so there are a few things that you need to know. We already shared what the definition of spirit guides is, so that's good. We know there are 7 types: angels, ancestors, nature beings, star beings, ascended masters, deities, and animal guides. And we all have a team of guide, and the one that has the most important message will be the one that steps forward. That could be your main guide. It could be another one. It could be one of the, what I call the experts. These are the ones that come in to help with a certain situation and then they leave again. So any the one that has the most important message will be the one that steps forward. And you get the message that you need to hear, which might be different from what you expect to hear or even want to hear. They will not give you any negative messages, don't worry. But sometimes we want to know, should I get married to Harry or Barry? And your guide is not even talking about that, because you're not going to get married to any of these two. And your guide might talk instead about your career, because that is way more important at the moment. And they know maybe that once you start focusing on your career, then you will meet the right person. This is just a silly example, but just to understand that we need an open mind when we get messages from our guides. And so here is how it works. I want you to find the Ask a Question section. It's down here. It's kind of like below the green button. And I want you to find that. And I want you to type newbie. So this is only for those of you who've never had a reading. If you've had a one-on-one reading with me, if you've had a mini reading before, please let the newbies go first. So just type in newbie, nothing else, no whole sentences, no thank you, nothing. It's just so I can quickly find you. That's the purpose of just typing newbie. And I'll give you a minute to do that. And I will invite you on screen. You will get a little message that says, Jamila invited you on screen. Are you okay? And then you say, click yes. And then you come on screen with me and I will do a mini reading for you. All right. And one last time, if you are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, find the link in the description and come on over to Crowdcast, because only here can I do a reading for you. All right. Let's see. Oh, wow. Lots of people. All right, let's see. So I'm going to invite Lib. And I usually invite a few people at the same time, so we don't have to wait too long. And I'm going to invite Shah. And I pick people randomly, and I trust that Spirit just will give me the people that need it most today. And I will invite Raquel. And maybe one more. Let's see. I'm going to invite, oh, we already have someone. But I'll just still, Amy. All right, let's see. Oh, I have to stop sharing my screen first. There we go. Hi, Raquel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
All right, so thanks for coming today.
Thank you for doing this. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Where are you from, Raquel?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. Nice and warm. Not like here in London where it's so cold. All right, I close my eyes usually, just because it helps me to focus. And I will also mute everyone else so that we do not have any background noises. All right, Raquel, are you ready?
Yes, nervous, but ready. Thank you.
No, that's okay. You don't have to be nervous. Okay. All right, okay. There are a few guides actually, but the one that steps forward, well, I can see nature spirits actually and an angel, but the one that steps forward is the angel. I can't clearly see if it's a male or a female, and angels do that from time to time. They just like some people, they don't want to be gendered. Let's see. But I can see that the angel is all in white, but not in a traditional sense, like a white gown. This one is more in a very modern, very like tight kind of like suit, like sci-fi a little bit in white, and the white is also shiny. And it's like pants and a top with long sleeves. That's what I can see. The angel has silver hair, short, and white wings with also like almost sparkly, like with little silver sparkles. Okay, so what I'm getting is that there is something, a new skill that you need to acquire, or something that you need to learn. So, and this is either already like happening or it's coming in the near future. But so pay attention to the opportunity for you to learn something new, because it will help you for your path in like into the future, and it will help you with things that you will be doing in the future, and it's definitely part of your life purpose. And because this angel looks so sci-fi like, and usually when they show themselves in a very specific way, there's a reason for it. And so I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think it might, like the thing that you're learning might have to do with some kind of new technology. That does not mean that it has to be like, let's say, I don't know, like something about computers or literal technology. It can also be the newest way of knitting patterns, but something about learning a new kind of, a new way of doing things. So are you aware of this? Do you already know what this might be?
I have a obsession with the pyramids because I believe they harness energy. I'm very sensitive to energy. Energy shoots through me, so I'm aware of vibrational frequencies. It's always been there.
Right.
But I don't know about harnessing it. For me, that's what I love, but to harness it for our soul purpose.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I mean, also what's interesting... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it feels far-fetched. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this actually makes sense, because when I saw the angel, and this angel looks so sci-fi like, it also made me think of star beings, and I think there's somehow a connection in the sense of either this angel is like kind of like a mix between a star being and an angel, or this angel is somehow connected to star beings. I'm not sure, but it has a very star being feeling to it. So and star beings are very much about like energy, feeling energy, also new technology. Again, that doesn't have to mean like technology the way we usually interpret it. So yeah, I would definitely look more into that, like how to harness energy. And it can be like an inner technology, like a specific meditation, for example. So definitely go further into that direction, because your guides are basically saying this is your path. Go down that path. So yeah, see it as a confirmation for where you are headed anyway.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. All right, so next up we have Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome.
Excited.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Awesome. Never been. I drove through Colorado once, but that was it. All right, let's see. Right, ancestor. There's an ancestor here for you. Let's see. Okay, so this is an ancestor. It's a woman. And this is someone from very, very, very far back. So this is past the Middle Ages. I want to say like Stone Age. And this is definitely about healing. And this is about going back to basics. And she's telling me that yeah, so from what I understand is that you are in a situation where you are either overwhelmed by possibilities or overwhelmed by how do I say this? It feels like there's a lot like going on for you, and she basically says like go back to basics. It feels almost like a computer that is overloaded and overheated. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. So that's why I'm saying overwhelmed, that kind of feeling. Maybe you're not sure like about decisions, what decisions to make. And she says, go back to basics. What is it that you really want? What is the priority? What is the goal? What is the dream? What is what are you actually trying to do with your life? And then pare everything back and just focus on that one thing. And she says, when you do that, you will also rediscover your healing abilities. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely makes sense. It's hard when your brain's so full of ideas. So
I know. I know what it feels like. I think we all know what it feels like.
Yeah, I think I probably overwhelm the guides sometimes. They're probably like, stop.
Oh, I don't think so. I think you're overwhelming yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So yeah, just find out for yourself what's the main thing, what's the goal, write that down, and then always have that in front of you and say, okay, this is my guiding star. Everything else that's taking me away from that, scrap it.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. All right. And now we have Lib.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. My name is actually Libra, like the zodiac sign. Yeah.
Oh, it just says Lib.
Yeah.
What a beautiful name. Wow.
Thank
Are you also a Libra?
I am a Libra, September 26th. Yes.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right, there's a deity here for you. It's a goddess. And she says it's time, and this is a very common message, but she says it's time to step up. You are hiding a little bit, like you're really hiding your own light because you are basically scared of what would happen if things went the way that you want. So basically a little bit like scared of your own success, scared of your own power. Oh, that's it. Like scared of your own power.
Okay.
And she says, don't be. It's time for you to really shine your light. And so she says, today, after this, while you go about your day, pay attention to where you don't speak up, even though you have something to say. Pay attention to where you make yourself small, even like literally, like maybe like you hunch your shoulders or something, where you don't take up the space that is yours when you walk down the pavement. Like these kinds of situations where you don't put up boundaries, even though you feel that other people are overstepping your boundaries. Pay attention to all like these little instances in your life today that you feel that you are not, where you feel like you are holding back your own power, and where you feel like you are making yourself smaller than you are. And reflect on that, and then change that. Because she says it starts with the small things, and then it becomes like bigger, in the sense that we don't step up and shine our light in bigger ways. So, and she doesn't want that to happen for you. Because she says you do have leading abilities, and they are needed. And so work on, taking up your space. And this is definitely more one of the fierce goddesses. So it's not like a Kuan Yin who's all about compassion and love and all that. It's more like, fiercer. And she's wearing a crown. She has long, dark hair. And she's also wearing a dark dress. I can't see her face clearly. But yeah, she's here to help you recognize and live your own power. Again, because you have leadership abilities and it's needed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a question. Did she seem to be, because when you first said deity, I was wondering, like which pantheon could you kind of get that at, like India or Egypt, or
because I couldn't see the face. I would try to figure that out because I usually look at that too. I couldn't really figure it out.
Was she brown?
I couldn't see the face or hands or anything. I tried to look at all of that. Like I said earlier, when they show themselves in a certain way, it always like signifies something. It has a meaning. So the fact that she doesn't show me these details also has a significance.
Okay. Because I felt like I've had dreams recently of Durga.
But
I wasn't. I know she's a fierce goddess, so that's what
that
maybe
might make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, I think you're right that I think she's right that I'm an artist and I haven't put myself out there as much as I should. So that definitely is true. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now you got your blessing to go ahead and put your art out there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
All right, guys. This was super fun. And if you want to book a one-on-one reading with me, which is 60 minutes, so a full hour, and of course, way more in detail, and you have the ability to ask questions, then you can do so at the link that I will put in the chat right now. And again, you can't see this on Facebook or YouTube. It's in the chat right now. Or you can just go to my website, thespiritguidemedium.com, and click in the menu there. It says work with me. You click on that, then you have a little drop down menu, and one of the items is readings. You can click on that, and then you can book there. At the moment, I have a 2 to 3 month wait list. I think there are a few more spots in April. So if you want a reading, you better book now. Otherwise, you have to wait even longer. Also, the price will go up soon. So if you want to book at the current rate, again, now is a good time to do that. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming. And you can stay connected with me on Instagram also if you're not yet. And I'll post that in the chat as well. Here you go. Or you can just search for me, type in my last name or not my first name. There are more Jamilas on there, but Jamila Jimunja or just Jimunja or the Spirit Guide Medium, you will find me. And I hope to see you next time for the second part of our special book club series. And thank you so much for coming, and enjoy the rest of